Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and I appreciate you being here at the channel today. And for those of you that have not yet done so, please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. And if you find the content beneficial, please hit that like button as well. Now, our topic for you today is why prospects don't join your gym. We've got 12 reasons that people may not be joining your gym. If you're a salesperson, listen up. If you're a gym owner, you're a manager, you're training people, listen up on this. Because ideally what we'd like to do, we kind of know what some of this is going to be. And part of the questions we ask along the way, and you want to take some notes on, is what can we do in advance to eliminate some of this? We know what it's going to be. How can we kind of fix it before we sit down and talk price with the customer? So number one is the reasons that your prospects aren't buying is they don't see a need. They don't see a need. And sometimes we have to kind of create that need. If they don't see it, we have to help create that. How can we create need? Well, I'll give you one example. Okay, is you ask the customer, what are your goals? Customer says, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, we're on the tour. Hey, let's go ahead and hop on the scale. Let's get some baseline numbers. You're going to have to do this eventually anyway, right? Let's get some baseline numbers to where you're at. And you want to lose 20 pounds, Mary. About how much do you think you weigh right now? Oh, I'm probably weighing about 140. Okay, fantastic. They hop on the scale and oops, it's 150. It's 145. That's going to be fairly common. That's one way to do it in the right circumstances. Sometimes you can measure them. Sometimes you can do a little 3-minute cardiovascular test. Maybe you do a flexibility test. Maybe you demo some equipment. Okay, there are going to be some great ways to help them see that maybe they could use some help. I'll give you one that's pretty popular that a lot of clubs will use when it comes to trying to establish need. Is say the customer says they want to lose 20 pounds, which is kind of popular, right? Is they'll have them grab a kettlebell. They'll say, hey Mary, we're going to go ahead and take a tour. Before we get started, we've got a 10-pound kettlebell here. Why don't you go ahead and grab it, hang on to it. At any point that gets to be too heavy, just let me know and we'll go ahead and set it down. And so we're into the tour and it doesn't take very long. Mary, hey, how's that kettlebell feeling? Well, hey, it's getting kind of heavy. Understand completely. Go ahead and set it down. And you ask them, hey Mary, how'd it feel? To set down that kettlebell. And a typical response, oh my gosh, what a relief. Okay, that got really heavy really quick. And Mary, understand completely. And Mary, here's what I want you to know. That's how it's going to feel when you lose that first 10 pounds. Can you imagine how good it's going to feel when you lose 20? There's a great way to bring this to life. And a lot of facilities will do this, and it works very well. I've seen it work many, many times. And the idea is not to call anybody out. The idea is not to embarrass anybody. It's nothing like that. It's just, hey, let's kind of give you an idea, because when people gain weight, they gain it so slowly. They don't always realize kind of what it's doing to them. And this is a great way to kind of bring that to life. So anyway, number one on our list is your prospects don't see a need. So establish need. Number two, there's no urgency here. This is not a priority. There's no urgency. And this is one of the things that anybody that's trying to sell anything needs to have, is we need to create some urgency. And there could be some price urgency. There could be some scarcity issues that, hey, we need to respond now. I know when we go online or go buy airline tickets, hey, there's only one seat left at that price. I mean, they do a great job of creating urgency. But also what you want to know, if you're in sales or you're training people to be in sales, there is a cost for inaction. There's a cost for that. There's a cost. There's a cost for everything. Maybe there's a cost for action. I have to join your club and it's going to cost me $50 a month. There's also a cost for not doing it. And what's been the cost so far? I mean, if you've been thinking about it for 10 years, maybe the cost is you have high blood pressure. Maybe the cost is you have high cholesterol. Maybe the cost is you've got a 40-inch waistline. Maybe that's the cost. Okay, but there is a cost for everything. And so we want to get this message out there, because one of the reasons people won't buy is there is no urgency. There's not a priority. They don't see a reason to act now. Okay, and without that, there really is no reason to respond now or tomorrow or the next day for that matter. Number three, there's a low trust. Okay, it's a low trust level. Okay, And on some of this, how can we gain trust? Some of the things that I would talk about is maybe at the beginning of a tour, you talk about how you have a doctor-led advisory board, to help provide the safest environment, for your customers. Maybe you let your customers know that whatever your government, regulatory body is requiring for you to be open, you've committed to doing even more than that. Okay, maybe you can show that you're a member of the Better Business Bureau, you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, you're a member of URSA, all these community things that you've done. And so we want to work to build trust. We can't simply say, hey, trust me, show them. Show them, maybe even testimonials of other folks. These are all some great ways, to build that. But one of the reasons people won't buy is trust. Number 4, reason prospects aren't joining your gym, no rapport has been established. No rapport has been established. And kind of how I talk about rapport is we want to build a bridge of trust, going back to what we're talking about, and talk about something we have in common. Okay, what do we have in common? Is it maybe somebody referred you? Oh, how do you know Mary? Okay, maybe that's what it is. Okay, or maybe it's where they work or a sport they participate in or anything of that nature. But we want to take the time and talk to the person. Okay, and build some rapport with them. Number 5 is no money or budget. The budget and money, like if you're doing corporate accounts, okay, we want to get this out of the way early, hopefully, but also with our customer, the reasons they won't buy is no money or no budget for this. Is it always an accurate statement? Not necessarily, okay? Part of the things that we can do on a tour is finding, hey, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now to stay fit, to stay healthy, to stay active? What have you done in the past? What, have they been a member of a tennis club, a golf club? What else have they done? Other fitness and athletic centers. Maybe they've been to a country club. Are they going to a weight loss, program? Are they taking supplements? What are they doing? Because what are you going to equate all that to? What's the cost to do all that? Maybe all that's being done. Maybe it's a matter of trading a bad habit for a good habit. Whether it's alcohol, it's too much coffee, it's fast food, whatever it might be. Maybe we trade one bad habit for another. But these are things that you can do, potentially on the tour. But, no money or budget. Number 6 is, they're not the decision maker. This would probably happen more often in the corporate sales. Make sure you're talking to someone who can make a decision. And if it's someone who's underage, certainly they're not going to be a decision maker. If it's a spouse, okay, what you try to find out here is, have they talked about this? Okay, what kind of goals does your spouse have for you? Oh, well, he or she wants me to look like I did the day we got married. Great, we can help you with that. So they've kind of told you, they've kind of talked about it. Hey, are they on board with you doing something? Oh yeah, they're pushing me every day to kind of figure this out. Okay, maybe that helps to overcome that, but they are not the decision maker is one of the reasons that people won't buy from you. Number 7, it's a lack of agreement on the solutions. Okay, so what's our job here in this whole sales process is to solve problems and provide solutions. Maybe that they don't like the solutions you provided. Okay, let's make sure as we're kind of going through that process, how do they feel about this? Can you see yourself coming in 2 or 3 times a week? Do you see how simple that is? Oh yeah, I can see myself doing that. But you need to have agreement on the solutions that you're providing, because if you don't, they're really not going to be solutions, are they? Number 8, could be unresolved issues or objections. Unresolved issues or objections, and sometimes you have to dig deep on this. A lot of times when I talk to folks, and when the customer is telling you, here's why I'm holding off, here's why I'm not doing it, and a lot of times what they're saying is, hey, based on what you want to charge me, I just don't think it's worth it. And maybe sometimes those unseen objections, it could be sometimes it's just us, maybe we didn't provide enough value. Okay, maybe you have to get up out of that chair and go back out on the workout floor and kind of go through this process again with your customer, if you have time, to do that. Number 9, obstacles. Obstacles that are blocking the decision. Oh gosh, maybe they're a member at another club. Oh, I still got 3 months remaining. Maybe they're just in town visiting because they plan on moving here. But you come up with solutions for that. Give them some credit if they're a member someplace else. Give them, their membership can start. They can join now. Membership won't start until they move here, and we can come up with solutions on that. But there's other obstacles that are kind of blocking this. But the thing that we want to know, one of the messages I want to get to you guys, is that we're in the solutions business. We want to provide solutions for our customers to get results, but also provide solutions to help them make that decision. Nothing overbearing. We're working with them to help them get it figured out. Okay. Number 10, and I almost didn't put this one down, but I went ahead and did anyway just to talk about it. But, the prospect is a tire kicker, and they never really intended to buy. Okay. Now, we have to really be careful with this one because I'm not a big fan of, prejudging. I think we should treat everybody like they're a buyer, and we want to follow this process all the way through. Okay. And as long as we're doing that, I'm going to be good with that, and I think you would be too. You'll get some folks who really had no intention. They just came rolling in. I know if I walked into a club, the other day actually just to kind of look at it, and I was not a prospect. I don't know that I was a tire kicker. I just was not a prospect. And so, they could have had the great attitude and done everything. They didn't do anything, by the way. They just let me go through. But, make sure we're following the steps. But you're not going to sign everybody up. I mean, that's just going to be the reality of it. Okay. Number 11, maybe they get a better deal from the competition. Okay. That can happen. You can lose deals to the competition. I would go back a little bit on this. If it really is competition, maybe that means there's no differentiation. And I would look at what is my differentiation. If you're a salesperson and maybe you don't have a lot of control over the differentiation of your club, of what ownership does, what makes you different? I know in years past when I was getting started at this and the person would say, well, Jim, what makes you guys so different? I just kind of lean in a little bit and I'd talk a little more quiet and I'd say, hey, we've got one thing here nobody else has. Me. Okay. And because it was true. And if they liked me and they enjoyed, the interaction, more often than not, they'd buy. Okay. So we're not looking for a better deal. Hopefully it's a better value. Hopefully there's enough differentiation there. They don't see us as competition, because the only time it's competition is when the customer sees you the same way as they see somebody else, and then it comes down to money. Okay? And then finally on our list is your customer is simply afraid to make a decision. Am I going to stick with it? Am I going to like it? Can I afford it? Am I going to look like a fool out there? Am I going to stick out in the crowd in a negative way? And they become paralyzed and afraid to make a decision. And one of the things you can think about on this that I refer to as the third-party touch. And so when you're taking the tour, maybe introduce them to other people, introduce them to other members that might want to share a story, or introduce them to other staff members so the whole thing is not just tied to you. Make them feel, make it a warm and inviting atmosphere for them to help them overcome this. Show them testimonials about other folks that maybe have never exercised before, didn't know what the heck they were doing, and now they felt comfortable coming in and how they started to get results, and it caused them to stick with it. So there's a lot we can do in advance. I want to suggest you really look at that. But there's 12 things of why your prospects don't join. Let's look at each one of them. Let's fix every one of those. And some way, somehow, how can that be addressed, in advance so it doesn't become an objection for you later on. Folks, my name is Jim Thomas. I hope you found the information beneficial today. Hope it helps you improve your sales performance in your gym, and hopefully it helps you make more money. If you enjoy content like this, I appreciate it if you hit the like button. And if you've not yet done so, please hit that subscribe button as well. And we'll look forward to chatting with you real soon. Thanks.